Good afternoon, everybody. No. We're going to do this. Okay, I want to blow the roof. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. See, that's what I'm talking about. Before I say anything, I want to thank our wonderful student presenters. How about a round of applause for them? I can't tell you how excited we are in San Francisco to welcome Beyond Differences into our schools. And for the young men and women that are here, present here today, we all know that a school should be somewhere where you feel safe. It should be a place where when you come to school, you're absolutely engaged in learning, but in learning new things, trying new things, being able to be who you are without worrying about who's going to leave you out, who's not going to talk to you, who's not going to include you. So what I love about this organization, what I love about our students is that they've shared stories about when we have the opportunity to make that choice. Do we invite somebody to sit next to us? Do we talk to somebody? Do we sit next to someone? We make a choice to include people, and we make a choice to exclude people. So this organization is going to help us all develop our skill sets so that we create environments in school where everyone feels included. That's important. And what I love about this, I want to know who's against committing a random act of kindness. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to make it cool to include people? Who doesn't want to sit with those who are sitting alone at lunch? Who doesn't want to make it not okay to talk against somebody's back, behind somebody's back? See, these are things that we just know we shouldn't do and we should do, but it gets hard sometimes because the school culture or the friend culture says it's not cool to do certain things. I want you to challenge that. I want you to take it on. I want you to create a system and an environment where it's cool to be included, it's cool to do the right thing. And I also want to thank my colleague, Mary Jane Burke, who's the superintendent in Marin County, because she was visionary in starting helping to promote the organization and then have the conversation to have them come here to San Francisco. So she's really cool too. We're glad she's including us. But with that, I just want to say how excited we are to welcome you to San Francisco. Thank you. And I want you to be part of this group very soon as well. And before you know it, we want it to be part of every one of our middle schools. And with that, I get the real honor to introduce to you the leader of our city. And this gentleman is our elected mayor. But beyond that, he's made a commitment to the schools in San Francisco. And as part of his first step of that commitment, he says, I am going to commit to making a difference in all of our middle schools in San Francisco. And he's moved beyond just saying it. He's actually brought people to the table that are helping us to do things, to change the lives and change the education in middle schools. He walks the talk, and he talks what he says. He's a true believer, and he's here because he also believes that we have to change and we have to support a culture in middle schools that make it cool to be in school and cool to be included. So with that, would you please welcome our mayor, Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you, Richard, for that introduction. And Aptos Middle School kids, how are you doing? Good. Right. Well, do you know I adopted you this past summer? Yeah, I did. I adopted all the middle schools as my focus for what I want to do as mayor. That's what I want to do. People ask me, are you the tech mayor? Are you the business mayor? You do all these things. What's really the most important thing? Well, I say it's got to be education. It's got to be the people who take my place very soon. And some of you, one of you may even be the next mayor of San Francisco. And this is exciting. That's why I wanted to talk to you and thank you for being part of this. And I am proud of Aptos Middle School. I'm proud of all of our middle schools in our great unified school district, because the kids in San Francisco are my future, are our future. I raised 2 children myself. They're now in New York, and hardly ever get to talk to them. They're busy with their lives, but they always tell me, and tell mom and dad, that they love their years in San Francisco. And this is why I wanted to come here to help inaugurate the first Beyond Differences program here in Aptos Middle School, right here in our great city. It's exciting. And I want to just personally thank Laura and Ace for your wonderful creation of this program. It's needed. It's absolutely going to make a difference. And then with Team Board, thank you very much for your leadership. It's exciting because you're going to be able to talk about the lessons that you're learning as you grow up. You're going to transfer those lessons to other kids and give them that hope, that experience that we all need. Because guess what? You know, in order to really be successful in society, in the city, everything that you do, if you want to be a mayor or a supervisor or the head of a company, you got to be able to interact with a lot of different people. You got to understand their viewpoints. You got to be able to recognize what people are doing or saying and if they need some help. And this is what Beyond Differences is all about. It's really breaking down what we call isolation. And this is what I really wanted to come here today and thank Laura and Ace for beginning this and take a moment to honor the life and memory of Ace and Laura's daughter, Lily, who experienced the worst effects that isolation could have. And I want to just say to the kids here, Beyond Differences, you are also creating this program in Lily's honor and the memory so that other children won't suffer the effects of being isolated. Because isolation, being not talked to, talking down on somebody, will eventually, if you can think through, it will lead, and it's the precursor to bullying and to violence. And this is not acceptable, not only in our schools. It's not acceptable to City Hall where I work, or to the neighborhoods that we spend a lot of time walking on. And the things that you will recognize today by this program, right now, are going to carry forth for you the rest of your lives. Mark me. Sometimes you hear an adult say, "You're going to have to, you learn this now, it's going to be with you." Well, I represent everybody in San Francisco, and I have to go through a lot of people's lives and what they experience in order to help them. But I will tell you, what you learned from this program, how you learn to get along, how you reach out beyond your own differences with somebody to create less isolation for somebody else, that will keep with you the rest of your life. It'll become a part of your personality. And this is what I like being the mayor of San Francisco. It's such a diverse city. We have people speaking all different languages from all different backgrounds, kind of like the way you look right here in Aptos. All different backgrounds. And I think it's the most important thing that we understand where people come from, but we make the extra effort to reach out to them and be inclusive. And this is what the beginning of the success you see in the city. You know, you see a lot of people walking around in San Francisco. You get on the bus with your parents or sometimes by yourself, you see gobs of people. You see this event, that event. There's a lot of innovation going on. A lot of things that people are creating with technology, with social services, with all the different things. Part of that success, part of our whole city, is people talking to each other constantly. Hey, what do you think about this program? We get somebody who might not even be in their own profession. Police officers will talk to doctors. Doctors will talk to nurses. Then they'll talk to technology people in the business community. And we'll all try to come up with better solutions. That's how you make, I think, a school district and a campus like Aptos even more vibrant. People talking to each other from different cultures, different languages, and all of a sudden, everybody is excited about where they're at. And this school is safer, it's more inviting, it's inviting to you as students, but also inviting to your friends. And when you graduate from Aptos, you're going to continue on with these skill sets that you learn. You're going to reach out to people who are looking at themselves maybe and not feeling the love, if you will, not feeling appreciated. You'll be able to reach out and you'll be able to say, hey, we learned about that. We know what that's all about. I'd like to include you in the things that you're doing. That's what I'm trying to do as mayor. You know, this year, outside of San Francisco perhaps, there's going to be millions of kids that are going to be bullied. They're going to be talked negatively about. I'm talking about schools all over this country. This is the beginning of something that will change that. And it will teach others what the impact is from bullying. And I want to thank especially our San Francisco School District, led by Superintendent Carranza, because he's leading the effort with the school board, with all the principals and the teachers, to instill, beginning here at Aptos, a new attitude about each other. And it begins here. We can stop the bullying here. We can create conditions for less isolation. That's going to be really important. I began by saying that I have adopted you as kids. Well, I really adopted the schools, but you're a part of that. And we are bringing in, with a lot of friends, more science, more math. You're going to see iPads floating around all the classrooms and all the lessons that are being synced out. Never had that before. And we're going to connect this school with all of the technology that we have as a city to offer. And you're going to see in your lifetime, in your generation, some very good advances on your school so that you can learn faster and learn better. That's what I want to do, because you are our future. I'm going to invest in all of you, because with the kind of conditions that you're creating today, you're going to be great investments for everybody in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you, Beyond Differences, and the team board for all your leadership. Thank you for being who you are, but also for being more than who you are today in the coming months. Appreciate it very much. I want to introduce a good friend of mine. He's the leader of this group of technology companies, some 600 of them. You know, we have over 1,800 technology companies. Some of them you might know. Twitter? Yeah, you heard of them, right? They're one of 1,800. Well, Mr. Conway is a good friend of mine. He's also been a leader in the technology and investment area, so he helps support a lot of these companies in getting started. But he's also been a great partner in his other role. As a leader of these companies, he's helped me also with programs that I think are really important, whether it's funding more things for schools or ending violence. You heard about all the gun violence that's going on throughout the country. He's a part of that leadership to really end that gun violence. And so we work very closely together, and it is my privilege to present to you the head of SF Citizens for Initiative for Technology and Innovation. That is Mr. Ron Conway.
We have the best mayor in the country here. San Francisco is very lucky to have Ed Lee. He could have adopted lots of causes, but he truly has adopted the middle schools in San Francisco. I'm sure none of you know where I was 52 years ago, but FYI, 52 years ago, I was eating lunch right outside. I grew up on Gellert Drive out in the Sunset. I'm sure a lot of you live out near there. And came to Aptos Junior High for 1 year before my family moved to the peninsula. But I am a graduate of Aptos. And when I found out that this event was happening here, I said, wow, I have not been back there since I was 12 years old, and what better time to come back to Aptos Junior High. I want to share with you how I got involved in Beyond Differences. And it's kind of interesting. Ed Lee mentioned that I got very involved in the gun safety issue after the Sandy Hook Promise massacre on December 14th last year. Lots of people in the tech community decided that we should get involved in trying to help stop gun violence in the U.S. And on March 14th, the 3-month anniversary of the Sandy Hook massacre, we invited several of the parents of the Sandy Hook kids who were killed. And one of those parents was Mark Barden. And Mark Barden's son, Daniel, 7 years old, was killed on December 14th. And Mark Barden, like any parent, is devastated. But Mark Barden told us, and standing with me in this conversation with Mark Barden was the founder of Twitter, who Ed Lee referred to. But guess what? The founder of Twitter is standing right here, Jack Dorsey. So Jack Dorsey is the person who invented Twitter, and Jack wanted to come meet these Sandy Hook parents as well. And Jack, Mark Barden, and I had this fascinating discussion where Mark Barden said, I wish my kid wasn't killed because my kid at 7 years old never would let anyone on the playground be alone. So here's a child who's 7 years old who instinctively understood that isolation and rejection was not a good thing. And at 7 years old, multiple instances where he would go up to one of his schoolmates who was being ignored or isolated and bring them into the group. So Mark Barden was heartbroken, not only because he lost his son, but because he lost someone who was stopping isolation. Everyone in this room and everyone in the B1 campaign can help Daniel Barden's mission of stopping isolation. And if you talk about karma, like a week after Jack Dorsey, Mark Barden, and I had this discussion, A. Smith and Laura told me about Beyond Differences. And I said, wow, this is meant to be. Let's harness all of social media, and when school starts in September, let's go rally all of America in the anti-isolation movement and launch B1. So B1 is launching today. It's launching with a massive amount of social media. will.i.am has tweeted about this. Snoop Lion, formerly Snoop Dogg, has tweeted about this. Snoop Dogg changed his name to Snoop Lion because he changed his image around the gun violence issue. Here's someone who's very concerned. MC Hammer has tweeted. The Governor Brown has tweeted. Of course, Ed Lee and I have tweeted. Jack Dorsey has tweeted or will tweet. What's really important is that in this conversation that Jack Dorsey, myself, and Mark Barden had, we said one of the bad things about social media is it does allow you to communicate with people without talking to them. And so finally today, we're actually going to use social media to increase communication between grade school and high school kids, and use this to stop isolation. So I think today is a very, very important day, and congratulations to you awesome students. Yay!